We ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Here we go.
Welcome to the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast, where a steampunk girl, a lifelong sci-fi fan, and a rocket scientist chat about the popular 2009 sci-fi series. There's never a dull moment with the agents dedicated to protect humankind from unexplained phenomena that manifest their powers in special objects. And there's all those friendships and relationships along the way. Grab a cookie while you can. Hope you don't smell fudge. Gear up with your Farnsworth, Tesla, and neutralizer, and let's have some fun by snagging it, bagging it, and tagging it.
Welcome back to Artie's Attic. We're a Warehouse 13 fan cast. I'm the Warehouse 13 janitor, dusting off the artifact victim in a perpetual coma. My name is SP.
Nice. I mean, true. But hopefully there's a really good HEPA filter in there.
That's what janitors do.
Yep. You gotta clean off the coma victim. All right, and introducing Artie's Attic lead agent and historian, who is starting to reevaluate her priorities and ask herself, is there more to life? It's Agent Shannon.
What's up, guys? Sci-fi girl.
And also returning is the warehouse agent, who is right here alone with her thing. It's Agent Carolyn.
I'm just going to leave it alone.
It's called a microphone.
I'm just going to skip
What's
past
up? What's up, everyone?
What's up? We are continuing our Warehouse 13 series discussion with the episode that premiered on Monday, April 21st, 2014, 6.5 years before a bartender took a long road through some of the best sci-fi shows on television to become a Marvel Avenger superhero.
Who was that?
What? Who?
You guys didn't recognize the bartender? The bartender, we'll talk about it later, but he was Shang-Chi.
Is that from the 9 Rings?
10 Rings.
10 Rings? See, I've only seen that one once, so I couldn't tell you.
9 Rings, you're short one ring. Shang-Chi and the Legend.
See, I haven't watched it that much.
Is literally a headliner superhero in Marvel.
Okay, so I suck at Marvel superheroes.
Warehouse 13 to think
that aren't Captain America.
I'm referring to the Warehouse 13 Season 5, second episode, Secret Service. The TVGuide.com description reads, Pete and Micah return to Washington, D.C. to investigate a series of victims drowning on dry land where they run into a pair of fellow Secret Service agents with a surprising secret. A secret which forces Micah and Pete to evaluate where their own relationship has taken them. Meanwhile, Artie uses an artifact to take Claudia back into his memories of an old case to show her the truth about her sister. Shannon, you've been shined by the Alpha Dreyfus sword hilt and cannot lie. Which girl by the Palladium Hotel pool caught your attention the most?
It's always Mike in the white t-shirts. She's by the pool.
That's fair. That's fair. I was going to say any of them that weren't blonde.
That is accurate, yes.
There was one
I know my Shannon.
In a white bikini that was not blonde. I thought she was going to go for that, but okay.
I mean, Micah was by the pool, so duh, she'll go with Micah. But any of them that aren't blonde, that would be the second one.
Well, if other than looking at the girls, which Micah, right? I'm blinded by the fact that the dude that plays the agent, he smiled so big, he reminded me of Max Headroom.
Yep.
He did.
He's been around. His name is Mark Declan. He has 78 acting credits since 1999, including one episode of Ed, which I loved Ed when it was on. It was the Bowling Alley Lawyer show. One episode of Charmed, the good one, not the bad one.
It's funny how we have to distinguish between the two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Must make that distinction.
2 episodes of Frasier. He was the ESPN reporter in the 2005 movie Herbie Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan.
Okay.
I remember that movie. I don't remember him, but I remember the movie.
2 episodes of Desperate Housewives, 1 episode of Big Love, 1 episode of a series that was based off a BBC series, which was really good, called Life on Mars. If you'd never seen that before, it's a really good series. Yeah. 1 episode of Castle, 1 episode of Warehouse 13. So this is the one and only time that we get it. 5 episodes of Designated Survivor. He was in as the lead man, the 2018 movie Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa, and he played opposite of Jill Wagner.
Sounds like a Hallmark movie. Okay.
That's probably where I'm
Christmas
remembering that one.
Evergreen, Ashley Williams.
Series.
Yes, Ashley Williams.
Ashley Williams.
Your list person. Yes.
Your list.
Also, 1 episode of Blind Spot, 1 episode of Blacklist, and you're going to love this, Shannon. You probably have seen him before and you didn't even realize it. The 2020 Hallmark holiday movie, Meet Me at Christmas, opposite of Catherine Bell.
Yep.
Well, okay. Well, here's the funny thing. I don't have the Hallmark channel. I don't know. I've never seen that one. I never even seen the ones with that Cat Barrella in because I don't have.
Yes, you have. You watch Shifting Gears.
Shifting Gears is not Hallmark.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, I didn't watch it from the Hallmark.
It's Hallmark, though.
I've never seen any of the ones with Catherine Bell.
It's campy. How would you not know that that's Hallmark?
That is true. All Hallmark is campy. So this guy was the lead actor opposite Catherine Bell?
That's correct.
Yep.
The Max Headroom gave it away, probably. I don't know. I just thought he was like cheesy.
Yeah, he did do that a lot.
I was like, oh my God. I'm like waiting for the echoes to come behind him when he talks. Of course, you have to be old enough to remember Max Headroom, like
Max
us,
Headroom.
but
yeah,
you should.
Max Headroom was actually in Eureka.
Huh?
The guy who played Max Headroom was in Eureka.
Where was he in Eureka?
Yeah, he was the Australian animal handler, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, man.
No, that's not Max Headroom.
Sure.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
All right.
He being old.
I mean, he kind of looks like that guy, but no, I don't
thought
think
for sure he was.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe
I
could
can't
be
believe
wrong.
we had the shows that we had back in the 80s, right? Like, how did that ever become something that we all remember Max Headroom?
So the
You got
guy
to be a
in
generation
Eureka
next to know that.
Iconic.
Matt Fuhrer. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going back into the 80s on his IMDb to see it was 80s, right? That he was Max Headroom?
Yes.
Or Max Headroom was on the air,
Very
right?
much the 80s.
And all those commercials and
yes, he was Max Headroom.
Was he?
Yes.
No way.
5.1 for SP.
Huh. Well, me shocked.
He played Matt Fuhrer, played Edison Carter, so the guy that wasn't Max Headroom was a reporter, and he always carried around that, the big video camera that was stereotypical of the 80s. Yeah, that was him. I'm right. Woohoo! Vindicated.
0.1 for SP.
This time.
Well, we'll allow it.
For once.
All right, I have another question for you, Shannon.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of driving exploits in your life.
Okay.
Have you ever flung a car into a tree from a dead stop?
I have not, actually.
Huh.
Flown a car
That would
into
be
a tree.
feat.
Goals to aspire to, then.
I have hit cones, like traffic cones, that's gone into a tree. But we're not going to talk much further about that. It was some
That's
armored
talented.
van. Those things don't slow down when you're supposed to, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It
Inertia.
wasn't people. I can
It's
just say
inertia.
that inertia was a bad thing when all the cash goes flying off of the tables in the back. Yeah.
So you're just talking about like the old, T-ball cones style. You're not talking about like traffic cones that are the barrels that are weighted down that will
No, not the
ruin your
barrels.
car.
Not the
Yeah.
barrels. That would be a little bit more of an impact.
The ones
Traffic
that look like a
cones.
dunce cap.
Yeah, traffic cones. Those orange little triangle things on the ground. I punted it, and it hit the trees ahead of us.
That was a traumatic scene And it's a shame that Claudia just had to see it. But
yes,
she did.
That was very traumatic.
Well, I can't imagine if that was me. I would want to know all that I could find out about that day, because even though she's had memories that's been suppressed all this time, now she'll just be laying there at night thinking about it, and they'll all come back to her. So I think it was better that she saw them then, when she has the crew around her to help her, than to do that on her own. Because there was no way she was going to let all of that go down, knowing that it's been hidden from her all these years.
Yeah, I think it was good for her to see it, brutal as it was, but I think her seeing it and knowing the extent to what had happened was good for her to know.
And that it wasn't her fault.
You know, at the beginning we see Claudia and Jinx sitting on her bed going, now this just doesn't happen. Look at this. This car rammed itself into a tree. This is warehouse. It's got warehouse written all over it. And I'm going to find out what. Give me a few minutes and I'll hack the thing. And then you see Artie walk, or you could just come with me. And then you see, oh, that's the best gay websites I've ever found, Jinx.
So here's my issue with that. We talked about it last time, where Artie was caught flat-footed in the warehouse and he was like, and then Claudia ran off. What they should have done is they should have linked into a two-parter episode or a cliffhanger or whatever, where Artie says, all right, I'm going to show you. At, when they were talking in the warehouse at the end of the last episode, they should have done that versus this back and forth. It was watching these episodes as close to back as we did. It was just stupid. It should have been done differently.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it that way, but it was also not bad the way they did it, because they were, discussing it and they wanted to find it out. And this way, Jinx was like, no, I'm going to help out with this because I'm going to be there for Claudia to see what she saw and what's going on. And it was interesting to see the story of Claudia and how she instinctively, one, can fix computers at that age. Look, fixed it.
But she could recognize it.
And she could recognize the artifact. Don't touch that music box. It's evil. Put it down. You don't want that mailbox. And her sister's like, it's mailbox, a music box. It's just a music box. It's not going to hurt me. And she instinctively knew. And that's when
impressed Mrs. Frederick when she saw.
Yeah, that's when Artie and Mrs. Frederick were like, oh, there's something special about this gal. You have a favorite toy.
See, what I don't like is you have storylines like this that are obviously meant to be played that Artie's known all along. Okay, so how many episodes have we seen with Josh? And Josh doesn't mention anything. Oh, by the way, it's good to see you. Thank you for helping me out of my problem before when you thought I was dead. But by the way, we have a sister. You don't think that would have
can I go see Claire?
That?
Yeah.
So when you had those afterthought scenarios like they did now, where by the way, we got a sister. Why? In what scenario would her older brother not say, oh, by the way?
Well, this is the sort of thing that if you do
agreement.
A reboot or a continuation or whatever, but really if you do a reboot, you have all that background that you can pull from. Like if they redo Warehouse 13, not a continuation, but if they redo it, you have that background that you can lay in from the beginning.
I think that was my favorite part of this episode was that storyline, was the Claudia finding out about her sister's storyline. The other one, it was interesting as far as finding the thing and everything, but the storyline itself of those two felt forced again. It wasn't, I mean,
with Micah and Pete.
Yes, the Micah and Pete storyline.
It's forced.
It felt forced because I mean, you've got Mrs. Frederick and Micah sitting there having tea, and Mrs. Frederick
talking
just
about
like
babies.
So everything's okay. This is when you reevaluate your world. I mean, it's a natural thing to ask because she just had this, big traumatic thing. Do you still, Micah was like, yeah, I still want to work here at the warehouse. No, it didn't really.
My question was, when's the last time anybody had tea tea with Mrs. Frederick.
Right?
Did she actually sit down long enough? And the moment she left, Claudia's like, Mike is like, I guess I'll just go put this back in the kitchen. I'm like,
I know, she didn't even finish her tea.
long enough for you to say, let me get tea. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's forced. The whole thing felt forced.
Yeah.
And him rambling on, talking about babies, and she's just looking at him like a deer in headlights.
Some of it was funny. He comes in and he's like, well, let's make a pact. She's like, oh, goody, a suicide pact. Well, if in 10 years, neither one of us has a person, I'll just donate my sperm. You know, in the beginning, he's like eating a banana. So those were the foods that I saw. Banana, Diet Coke at the pool because they needed something cold.
Yeah, they did.
And then the tea. That was all I saw. But, you know, Micah was funny. She's like, oh, yeah, I already have a kid. Looks at Pete. And,
look at this monkey.
You know, that relationship is the relationship that makes the story good. What they were trying to do with it, I get they only have a couple episodes left, and that's where they wanted to go with it. So this is how they had to start it. But
right, exactly.
It just didn't feel right. Because then Micah was like, I liked it better when you just stared at my boobs. He's like, I can do both. I can do both.
And I think what you just said, because they already knew what they were going to do with it, and they had to start leading us there. But I think that's where the problems started growing with the fans, because it was still one of those things where like, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I mean, we watched the last half of season 4. And we knew what to look for. I saw the hints along the lines of the last 10 episodes of season 4. It was there. So it didn't come out of nowhere. But there's this big, long hiatus between 4 and 5. And when you have a big, long hiatus and you're not attuned to what has just happened, you're not thinking about that anymore. Your mind is actually going back to season 1, where they're just fun, quirky partners. You're not looking at the relationship that has evolved over time because you just haven't seen it. So that's why it seemed, in my opinion, like it was out of nowhere, but it wasn't out of nowhere. It was in the last half of season 4.
I don't think I would call it out of nowhere, because you are correct. They had been leading up to it, but I feel like it was just all of a sudden forced. Like, oh, how Micah had this scare. Oh, here's some buddies that we had from being secret agents. We're going to partner up with them and figure out why people are drowning. And they show up that they're getting married and they like each other that much. And, you know, they're partners. And, well, then you start looking at each other different. I think that's the part that bugged me, because it was just like, well, look, here's 2 other people that are partners, and look, they're partners now. I don't know. That's the part that was like, it annoyed me.
Well, you know, you go back, you say you've seen it in the last couple episodes of season 4, but I think starting from 4:15 forward, because that was instinct, and that was when really people saw, okay, they're not going to go anywhere further with the burying of whales. That was the dead end of it. And people that were paying attention back then knew that Jamie was going to Defiance. She probably wasn't going to come back. And I remember there being talk about the way that they hated that that's all what? She's walking away, you're leaving without that character? I think people started seeing it then too, because if you're, like, in my mind, if I'm going to go back and rewatch something, it's going to be 1 through 3. And there's sporadic episodes in season 4 that I like Big Snag. But I never go to 5. So now this is me watching it for the first time in forever.
Forever. Me too.
So the 15th episode of the 4th season was definitely the cut, but there was stuff happening before that. Matter of fact, if they would reboot, I just said if they reboot the series, this is what they would do. Another thing that they could do now that they couldn't do then is have a throuple between the 3 of them. Because there was chemistry.
True.
There was chemistry between Pete and HG. Now, Pete always deferred to Micah there, but there was chemistry there.
That's true. That could definitely happen. That would be good.
A really hot HG. What was it? A really hot woman.
All right, Shannon, I got another question for you. What is your favorite woo-woo kind of case?
What?
Woo-woo kind of case.
Woo-woo kind of case.
Because the other 2 agents were like, hey, we know you're into woo woo.
Yeah, you're the people they call for these woo-woo kind of cases.
Well, you have woo-woo that Pete and Micah do, and you have woo-woo that Fox and Mulder did. So,
Ooh.
I mean,
Nicely
they're kind
played.
of woo-woos. You have Dana, Scully, and Mulder. They had bigger woo-woos.
They bigger woo-woos.
They had bigger woo-woo episodes.
All right.
So if I prefer the objects, preferably the ones that can't kill you, but still they would be lighter subject matters and easier reports to write than the ones that X-Files had.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, they did get to they did get to keep secrets at the end because they had to keep the secrets of the other special agents, and they kept their secrets because they saved one of the special agents.
So since you brought up X-Files, I will bring up, and I know you haven't seen the whole thing, but I will bring up Fringe. That is right there in there.
Bring up what?
I liked Fringe.
Fringe. The
Fringe
series
was a good
Fringe.
series.
Yeah, I think I went almost all the way through the first season.
Yeah, because you remembered seeing the guy from Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
Mhm.
But then again, I get sidetracked because whenever Sasha and I we watched, she'd never seen any Sleepy Hollow, so we went from beginning to end. And then she's like, okay, what are we going to watch now? And I'm like, well, let's watch the originals. And she's like, wait a minute, you haven't seen the beginning of it? I'm like, what? I had never seen Vampire Diaries. So now we're almost done with that one. And then we'll do originals again. And then Legacies. So I'm going to be booked. She books me. I'm booked.
I know this. I know this feeling.
But only when I go to work and I work those 24 hours on the weekends, that's Steve. So I need to watch Fringe. I don't remember where I saw that.
Fringe would
it's
be
on
a good
Amazon.
watch for you
Amazon,
because they start to go into other worlds and other time periods, which there's, if I remember correctly, there's some steampunk associated with that. I could be off on that, but I thought there was.
But I'm
like in
I'm
season
booked
4,
for that.
season 5.
I have to go back and rewatch it. I haven't rewatched that one.
It's been a while. I only saw it once, and because a friend of mine was like, "Here's the DVDs. You will watch this," so I did.
Speaking
It
of
was
steampunk,
good. I liked it when I first watched it.
the background on my laptop is Artie's keyboard. It's steampunk.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So another question for you, Shannon. Would you ever consider marrying a hot Secret Service partner?
Is that a trick question?
Well, it depends on. I will agree to that if they agree to always do the paperwork.
Well played. Well played. That is definitely
I ain't no
good.
rookie in this, okay? I'm no rookie. No rookie. I don't like paperwork. I hated writing it when I worked in the jail. My God, I hated writing that.
I would say AI, the large language models like ChatGPT, would make that a lot easier for you today.
Probably, but I doubt because it would be easier. I'm sure the county would have said, no, make them do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah,
Handwrite
I doubt
it.
that they would let us have that right.
Yeah, they would have been like, handwrite it, then scan it in.
Because I cannot
handwrite it, then fax it in.
I cannot express how much I loathed writing paperwork because every time we'd write one, we had a corporal that would walk around with a red marker in his breast pocket. And if you didn't have the right commas somewhere, you have to do the whole thing over again. It just, no.
I
don't want paperwork.
I want to say Microsoft, maybe Google, they can take audio and transcribe it for you. So you wouldn't have to even write it. You could just transcribe it. You could, speak into a microphone just like you're doing right now.
That's what they need because it was hard writing a report working in the jail because every 20 minutes you had to get up and do your rounds and you could not be late. And in the middle of all that, you're moving all the inmates, you're doing, outside time and handcuffs and shackles and all the stuff, and then going back and finishing your report. So sometimes it was an all day long thing. And that's if you didn't get another fight call in between. So now you got 2 reports to write. No, so I'm so done with paperwork.
Well, here's my quibble for the episode because agents simply cannot be married to each other. You can't even work in the same division and the same
if they
office
know.
space.
Yeah.
Well, and if they do know you're going to get fired, this is not we're going to keep your secret. This is you're going to get fired.
Yep. Well, I didn't find it funny when Micah was like, "Man, am I glad we keep our work and our life separate." Pete's like, "Yeah, we work together and live across the hallway in an Airbnb. She's like, yeah, I really wish you would shut your door. Hey, we wake up that way. It's just natural.
It is.
I thought she said, we really wish she shut the bathroom door.
She did.
It was your
I really
robe.
wish.
It was robe, not
Was
the
it
door.
his robe?
Yeah.
I thought it was the bathroom door.
No.
Shut
I
your
thought it was
robe.
his robe.
Shut your robe. Oh, well, that
Either
makes
way,
sense.
she saw him.
Either way, she says,
Little Pete made
either
an
way, Pete
appearance.
says, what? It's just natural. Guys wake up that way. That true, SP?
That is true. That is true. As you get older, it becomes less and less of a problem. But yeah, when you're younger, under 40
else
for
you got?
sure.
What else you
What
got?
was that?
Relate on me.
Oh, okay.
I know you
do
still
have
have
more
some.
questions here. So let's
Oh.
get on to the next one.
Rapid
Okay.
fire.
This is a good one. What's the coolest thing you ever purchased from a yard sale?
Ooh. Oh.
A kayak.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
right. You got your kayaks that way. I forgot.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. No powers in them, though?
No,
Okay.
no
good.
powers. If they did,
They weren't an artifact.
if I had power in them, I would put powered motors in them because kayaking before the stroke and then after the stroke is like I get tired out way sooner. And then Bear wants to go out there with me. I'm like, you're on your own. I can't pull you with me. I can't do it. And then I don't go far anymore.
I do have
So-
a question with that whole music box. It was still an artifact in the fireplace.
Yep.
Could they not have pulled it out and tried to neutralize it? I mean, I
They
would have at
should've.
least tried. If it was me, I would have grabbed like a poker or something, pulled it out and grabbed it with purple gloves and put it in a thing just to see. I mean, yeah, it was burning, but did that mean that it couldn't be neutralized at all? Like,
Yeah, put a bucket of water over the fire. I forget if it was a gas fireplace or not, but turn it off, put a bucket of water over it, and then take all the ashes and put it in a big bag, or douse it with goo or something.
yeah, or
Try
just
it.
spray the fire with purple
Yeah,
goo.
they could have fixed the whole problem right there.
I mean, I understand why they didn't bronze her because she's not evil by her choice. It was by an artifact. So there's a reason why you didn't bronze her, but
Or call a purple swampin to come and eat the stuff.
you don't
and
use
take care
purple
of it.
swamp fins anymore? That's madness.
Even back then, when that was happening, Artie was already in charge, right? Why didn't he think that?
I don't think he
Why
was in
did-
charge.
Yeah, I don't think he was in charge because he was still checking with Mrs. Frederick on things. So I think he was just learning how to do all of the agent things out in the
Well,
field.
I don't know about that because he's been in the
no,
warehouse
I
for
meant,
quite
like,
some time.
out
Either
in the
way,
field.
he should have known to try to purple goo it.
Back then, he was
Yeah.
partners with McPherson.
No, I
That
think this
says a
was
lot.
after Mrs. McPherson because he had Mrs. Frederick out there. So I don't think he had McPherson anymore.
Uh,
Well, that's my
Either way,
headcanon anyway.
snag it, bag it, tag it, even if you have to put it out.
Right? I mean, you at least would like try to
Try.
purple goo it somehow. Just dump a bucket of purple goo over it.
Exactly.
See if that helped.
And if you had done that, then you should have had Claudia the entire time. I mean, if you could work out miracles to bring Joshua back, you could have.
Yeah. I mean, even if it would have only like partially made her better, maybe that would have been enough to make her be able to live life instead of just be completely mad.
Well, it looked like there at the end that we're going to see her sister in the next episode. And I don't remember if she's evil or I don't remember because I don't like the last season, so I never rewatched it. So
Yeah.
this is like brand new episodes to me.
yeah, we'll
Who
get
was
to this.
she? She was very familiar. Did you write down who she was? Who the sister was?
I think I have it in here, but I don't think I listed off her IMDb. I mean, there's different versions of Claire because they went younger and young.
Yeah, I'm talking about the older. I'm talking
Yeah, I
about the
know.
older
The
one
younger
with
one
with
had a bad wig
the
on.
baby shoes.
So her name is Chrissy Whitehead, but I don't have any of her.
the older one with the baby
IMDb.
shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chrissy Whitehead is in there, and the younger one, the 15 years old, was August Winter. I don't know.
What's
that's
up
not
with
who
her
you-
hair?
Yeah, it was a
What's
bad
up with
wig.
Pete's hair? What's up with Pete's hair in this episode? His hair was like different. He looked, it looked like he didn't put it up.
Now he's got long and shaggy hair.
Also, Pete has gained a lot of weight.
I noticed that too.
I didn't want to call it out, but yes, as long as we're talking about differences there, remember, there's a lot of time in between season 4 and season 5. I don't know if
because they knew they weren't going to come back for longer than 6 episodes. They probably didn't care.
Yeah.
He might have been putting on weight to do another show.
Another question for you, Shannon, right?
Do.
When have you ever trusted someone that asked you to trust them?
Kind of too often.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that feeling.
So it was at the very end when the administrative assistant secretary or whatever was at the girl's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, do you trust me? I'm like, no, I don't. If you're asking me that question, I do not trust you.
Well, the reason why she was asking it was she wanted her to drown so that was the last person that would be alive to know the whole series, because she'd already used the sword on her in the car.
Okay, stroke victim here. I can't remember at the very end. Did they save the girl that was doing all of it?
Yes,
in the
they
garage?
did.
The jury will have to take care of her, and she can't
How are you
take care
going
of
to
herself.
explain that to a jury?
You don't. I'm like,
Bubble guppies.
yeah, she's, I don't know. Maybe
Now
there's some
you have
special
to,
regent court.
Yeah, now you're going to have to
Regent Court.
compel and erase her memories of even knowing what an object was.
So Diane Hewlett was the woman that we're talking about. And
Which one?
She's the secretary for
The
that
secretary. Okay.
for the senator that had the hilt, and it was played by Megan Gallagher. She has been in quite a few things.
She
by
looked
the
very
way.
familiar.
Yeah.
I've seen her like a soap opera kind of stuff.
70 acting credits since 1984. I don't know if you watched Hill Street Blues, Shannon, or not, but she was in 19 episodes of Hill Street Blues.
She was a cop, I think.
Officer Tina Russo.
I remember seeing her face.
Yeah.
That's probably
And
where
then
it is.
I think you also watched China Beach, did you not?
Yes, I
She
did.
was in 17 episodes of China Beach
She
as
was a nurse.
Wei-Lu Marie Holmes.
Okay.
I do remember her. Yep.
I did not write down her character, but she was in 2 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, if I remember correctly. It was like some administrative whatever.
Oh, okay.
2 episodes of ER.
There's been so many of those, but
Right. Yeah. I think 20 years with ER or something. I have to go back and look. But she was in 45 episodes of Millennium. In case you watched that. She played Catherine Black in there. 1 episode of Star Trek Voyager. Again, I did not write down her character.
What's
oh, did you?
She was in the 2002 movie Van Wilder. Holyoke Hottie. That's who she played. She
Okay.
was
Easy for you to say.
I know.
What is Millennium? What is that?
Millennium? If I remember
45
correctly,
episodes.
that was I want to say NBC show about a plane that disappeared right around the millennium. Remember back in 1999?
Everybody
Back in
thought the world was
99,
going
and
to
they thought
end.
the world was going to end.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got
It's like-
married.
I think that might have been that. She was in the 2005 movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith as a 40s woman. So not
She
an 18.
was.
What part of that did she
She
play?
was in there.
Oh,
Yep.
she was one part of the girls' crew.
Mm-hmm.
Only this episode of Warehouse 13, obviously, she played a bad character. And then following that, I just have 2 credits. She was in an episode of Grey's Anatomy and an episode of Designated Survivor.
I have seen that. I haven't seen her in it, but that's a good show too.
Yeah, so she's been around for a while. And between her and Mark, immediately you're like, okay, so that's the 2 known actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elise, the Ted and Elise, the agent pair.
Oh, yeah. She was familiar too.
She should have been.
Where from? The blonde?
Janet Varney is her name, has 105 acting credits since 2003.
Well, that would be why.
She was in the 2004 movie Catwoman, playing a party girl.
Yeah.
She was in...
She was a red shirt then. Okay.
What's that?
That makes her a red shirt then.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Her character's name was Stacy. I'm guessing she was one of the girlfriends over the many, many years of that show. I did not watch this show, but it was really big when it was on. Entourage. Did either of you two watch Entourage? Okay, so she was in 3 episodes of Entourage. She was in 2 episodes of Psych, which is...
Oh, I watched some of that, not all of it.
Yeah. Only this episode of Warehouse 13. And then here's the big one. She was 52 episodes of The Legend of Korra. She voiced Korra. She's got a ton of voice acting credits.
The Legend of Korra.
Korra.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's all right. A lot of our audience will. I did not see it, but I know it was very popular. She was the main character. She was Korra.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
like, I know what The Legend of the Seeker was, but I don't that was a good show too. Can't be, but good.
I have one more question for you, Shannon.
Lay it on me.
What childhood memories would you want to go back and experience again?
Oh.
Well, they sure wouldn't be skating board off the roof. No.
I mean, just to go back and go,
I had a lot of good memories growing up. During the summer, I'd spend the summer at my grandparents. And my aunt and uncle lived next door to them. So I'd always spend the summer with my cousins. And it was a big thing. We'd sit around the table and play Monopoly or Chutes and Ladders. So I like playing board games. So that's a good memory to have.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be.
I did, and I usually would think of this too. The whole reason that they were thinking this had to do with something legislative was there was a bill for fracking.
Yep.
Which to most people, fracking is a gas pipeline thing, right? This is why I'm not into this. But when
you drill in from the side and you inject gas or liquid to bubble it up. Yeah.
When Pete was talking to the secretary of somebody and she said fracking and she giggled to something from Battlestar Galactica. That's where my brain goes when you say the word frack.
Quotes from Battlestar. Can't remember what the other one was, but I remember thinking, oh my God, that's the second one he's made.
Yeah, he's made a lot of Battlestar things over the years.
Yes. There's been a lot of references, but that's where my brain goes. So when somebody came up with the word fracking for that, I was like, who was that? Somebody in sci-fi that they're as like a nerd or something that decided they would call fracking.
We would know what the frack, right? We know what that means.
What the frack?
Sasha says all the time, and I promise you, she's never watched the show.
I use it all the time.
What the frack? I'm like, I used to have a shirt like that, but it said BSG on the front.
My screen on my phone used to say, "Get your Goram fracking stocko fingers off of my phone."
Goram stock.
Stocko. Stocko? Was it? It was Stocko. Yeah. That's Firefly, Defiance, and Battlestar Galactica all on the front of my phone. I lost that wallpaper. I don't know what happened to it, but it was the coolest wallpaper.
The hashtag, if you know, you know.
Right?
Because nobody, unless you're a fan of watching those.
Well, I have Serenity up on my wall, pictures of Serenity up on my wall in my office.
Telling us that.
And most people are like, what is that? Like, Serenity.
Right. I have 4 notable guest stars that I want to run through really quick.
Okay.
One was the first secretary. The first senator's secretary was played by Teresa Pavlink. She was the Canadian Comedian of the Year.
Oh.
So, yeah, she's mostly a comedian, but she was on this episode. So she was a noted guest star for the episode. The bartender, Simo Liu.
The one you referenced in the beginning.
Yeah. 57 acting credits since 2012. His first credit of note to our audience would have been one episode of Nikita, and then this. So this is very early on in his career. And if you take a look at him, he looks really young in here compared to now. 10 episodes of Taken, 1 episode of Orphan Black, 1 episode of Dark Matter, 2 episodes of The Expanse. So that's why I said he took, at the beginning, I said he took a tour through some really good sci-fi shows. And then the 2021 movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, he was the headliner for that. And then, I don't know if you guys have seen the Barbie movie, but he played Ken in the 2023 Barbie movie.
Unfortunately, I was forced to go but I really wouldn't admit that I remember much of it.
You kind
I
of just
took
did.
the girls, and then I played on my phone the entire time going, oh my God, what the hell have I done myself to?
I have not seen it yet. At
Me
some
neither.
point in time, I will. But I did see the Oppenheimer movie, which came out that same weekend, I believe. They both came out at the same time.
Yes, they did. Yep. Yeah, they did.
Oppenheimer is not my type of movie. You would think it would be, but it is not. I don't like the way they filmed it. Anyway, he also, Simu Liu, did 2 episodes of What If. So he played his character again, Shang-Chi, in the Disney Plus series What If. Okay, so that's number 2.
I did watch What If. I think I watched the 10
I watched
Rings
the
too.
Captain
I've only
America
just
with
watched
the-
it once though.
What's that,
I
Shannon?
watched the 10 Rings. I watched the 10 Rings. I know what that is, but I watched the episode of What If with Haley Atwell.
Oh.
A lot of them have Haley Atwell.
Yeah, Haley out with Captain Carter. She literally was the whole series was about her.
About her.
Yes.
If there was a main character for What If, and there really isn't, but if there was, it would be Haley Atwell.
It
Yeah.
was good. I don't know as I liked the last season as much as I liked the previous seasons, but
There's a reason for that because they
Yeah.
lost their main showrunner and head writer. Basically, it was a group effort, but they lost the top 2. One left and one was fired, and that left the remaining crew. So they just didn't have the oomph.
they did okay, but it didn't have the same.
Mhm.
It wasn't the same.
They probably had a lot of help too, which probably meddled in whatever they wanted to do.
Oh, I'm
Anyway.
sure there was a lot of help.
Anyway, 2 other people. The woman, the girl that played the 1999 Claudia, was played by TJ McGibbon. She has 57 acting credits since 2012.
The little girl?
Yeah.
57? Wow.
57 acting credits, including
Dang, that's
2
a lot.
episodes of Warehouse 13. So we're going to see her again.
Oh, we're going to see her again.
She was in the 2016 movie X-Men Apocalypse as Nina. So one of the kids at the school.
Okay.
That's actually a big deal. And then another big deal is she was in 7 episodes of The Umbrella Academy. I've not seen it, but that is a big show that's on
I have
streaming.
seen parts of Umbrella Academy. Yes. I don't think I finished the first season.
I have not seen any of it, so can't tell you. I think, Shannon, you've seen The Umbrella Academy. I think we talked about it. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. All right. The last one, Nancy Malloy, the reporter at the end. She was played by Karen Glave, has 92 acting credits since 1995. I am not going to go through all of them because
I want to say she looked familiar to the 100.
she might have been in the 100. I did not write that down. I wrote down the 2004 movie The Day After Tomorrow. She played Maria in there. And then this is where we have seen her is 4 episode of Killjoys as Yelena.
Oh, that's right. I knew her from someplace. I was trying to catch her face.
So this episode again, for the umpteenth time, just denotes the amount of really good guest stars that they either started or grabbed to be part of this series. So
It just shows you that Warehouse 13 had the pull to do it. The people were either gravitating toward it or just getting the start right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then really quick, maybe not so quick, it was directed. I'm going to go through the creative team now. It was directed by a name that I know both of you know. I can't tell if you like or not. Robert Duncan McNeill directed this episode.
Hey, he's from Voyager.
Yeah, he played Tom Paris in Voyager.
Tom Paris, yeah. No, I love that guy. They have a podcast too.
The blonde guy?
Yes, the pilot.
What's his name?
Robert Duncan McNeill.
He played Tom Paris.
He played opposite of Courtney Cox in the original Masters of the Universe movie.
Did he?
Yeah, did you guys not know that?
As in He-Man?
I've seen him in periodic other things too, but no, he's a big director now.
He played in He-Man?
No, Masters of the Universe, live action, 1987. Oh, was
that
he
was
He-Man?
He-Man, right?
No, he played Kevin Corrigan. I don't know if that was He-Man or no. I just saw the picture. No, he did not. I don't think he played He-Man.
That's what I'm talking about. When you say Master of the Universe, we're talking about He-Man, right? Okay.
Dolph Lundgren played He-Man.
He played He-Man. Yep, I remember that one. It was still cheesy.
It's like, he was a scrawny little dude. He did not play He-Man back then.
Dolph.
Well, that's good. That's cool. I didn't know he directed one of these.
Yeah. 52 directing credits starting in 1998, 4 episodes of Voyager, 7 episodes of Dawson's Creek, 2 episodes of One Tree Hill, 4 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, 2 episodes of Desperate Housewives, an episode of V, the second one, not the first one, but they were both good in my opinion. So no shame
Hadn't seen either
there. So he was really big into this series, and he directed 21 episodes of Chuck, including the finale. And this is where my trust in him breaks a little bit. I'm like, I hated that ending. I know a lot of people liked it. I'm like, I hated that ending. So I'm not gonna, he's done so much other stuff. I'm not gonna this is gonna break me from you, Robert Duncan McNeill. But yeah, I railed a lot against that episode over my podcasting career.
He and the guy that was the security guy. No. Oh, wait. Am I thinking the wrong podcast? I think he has a podcast. He has a podcast with Garrett Wang.
We're going to get to that. 2 episodes of Supernatural, 1 episode of Warehouse 13. This is the one and only time he's on the show. 2 episodes of The Orville. Uptell Strange New Worlds. I would argue that it is one of the best Star Trek series ever. And that does include The Next Generation.
I haven't seen Orville yet.
Orville?
Yeah.
Orville.
There's a lot of heart in Orville. Yeah.
I saw it more as a I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and then I'm like, I'm bowing out.
Yeah, because you just didn't get into it. You didn't get it and everything. I get it. It is its own thing.
It felt like it was a mockery, kind of like Galaxy Quest.
But not really. I mean, yes, it was, but then it became its own thing with a lot of heart. And it was like, oh, this is a really cool idea. They leaned into the fact that they were spoofing Star Trek hard and they won that. Unfortunately, they're not. Seth MacFarlane lost his passion for it, so they really haven't done much with it, even though I think they're supposed to be filming the final season right now, or the next season or whatever. Anyway, 3 episodes of a series I know you like because you talk about it all the time. The Gifted.
That was a good series.
See?
Yes.
There you go.
I do like that series.
1 episode of Suits and 10 episodes of Resident Alien. Now, he does have 30 acting credits. He doesn't like to act anymore. He does some voice acting, but he doesn't like to act anymore. He started in 1981. We talked about the Masters of the Universe. He did an episode of The Quantum Leap, the original one, not the second one. Yeah.
That's cool.
1 episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Basically played his same character, but it was a different character on Voyager.
He was an ensign?
Yep. The ensigns.
Yeah, he was at the school with
cadets,
Crusher.
actually.
Right.
Yeah, and they did that.
When they did the maneuver, they got
did the
one
maneuver
person.
that they got in trouble for.
Yeah.
Yes. He was such a young pup.
Because one of them
then.
died.
Yeah, one of them died.
Yeah.
And then he had to be, he was such a disappointment to Picard.
Yes.
I wish they would have brought him back in TNG, but then it's like, what's her name? Wesley Crusher's crush, Ashley Judge.
Judd.
Yeah, I wish they would have brought her back too.
Yeah.
168 episodes of Star Trek Voyager as Tom Paris. 1 episode of Chuck. 3 episodes of Lower Deck, and this is part of his voice acting that he's been doing. And then he has been since the beginning, and they've been going on for years now, the co-host with Garrett on Delta Flyers podcast. He is a fellow podcaster. Robert,
I haven't actually
Duncan
listened to much
McNeill.
of their podcast.
Which one's is that
I don't
Wing?
have time.
Yep, Garrett Wang.
Garrett Wang.
The dude that played Tom Paris is on his podcast with him?
No, he played Tom Paris. The guy that played Ensign Harry Kim also does the podcast. And they have a bunch of people on from Star Trek on as guests and co-hosts and stuff like that.
Okay, so I guess from what I'm trying to understand, I remember Wing. It's been a long time. He was the French-Canadian guy, right?
What?
Wing from...
No. Garrett Wang. He's an actor.
Oh, okay. I was like, why? What? Okay, there was a guy a long time ago for GWC.
Yeah, no, not Nightwing.
Okay,
not
I'm with you. Not that guy.
So Robert Duncan McNeill is a fellow podcaster.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And he was the director of this episode. Back to Warehouse 13. He was the director of this episode.
It was also written by Bob Goodman, who this is his 8th and final episode of Warehouse 13. So Bob has been one of our good episodes. So a few of the episodes that he did, Endless Wonder, Instinct, 321. Bob, thank you very much. You've done some of our favorite Warehouse 13 episodes.
Yes.
All right. So get back to the episode. I did have another list. It's not questions for Shannon, but it's another list. How many lies were told of people?
Yeah. because that sword would take your life when you lied. So the first lie was
Gavin Taggart. He was the senator at the tennis court, or he was with the senator at the tennis court.
He was the guy that was trying to get him to sign his bill.
And his lie was fracking is absolutely safe.
Yep.
And then he
started to drown.
And then Senator John Wilton, he teared up the letter in the parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
That he said he was going to look into.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another guy who we didn't see this. So I don't know what lie he told. His name was
I wanted to know what the lie he told.
Freddie Olin, but he was the real estate guy who was selling a house. And while he was on the phone answering questions about the house, he drowned.
Yep.
So he was lying about the house, basically. Or the deal or whatever.
Tiny bubbles.
Nancy Malloy, who's the reporter, her lie was, I was just reporting a story and it had nothing to do with the conspiracy.
Yeah. Yep.
And Ted, he lied about oogling the girls.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
No, I didn't look.
I'd be like, just own it, dude. Say, yeah, I did, but you're the only woman I want to go home with.
You and Pete oogled. I mean, you're human. I would think you were going to oogle. But as long as you said something like, I'm the one you're going to go home with, then I'd be okay with that.
Immediately got a cold drink. I diverted my attention.
I got a Diet Coke. Cold.
Okay, here's a question for you. Julia Hemsworth, the girl in the house, did she lie?
No, she didn't have a chance to.
That's right, because Micah told her to shut up.
Yep. Don't say another word. And the lie that the other gal said was,
Diane Hewlett, she said, I'm innocent. I haven't hurt anyone.
Yep. And then she started drowning.
And that was intentional.
That was intentional. But then they snag bagged and tagged it and everybody got better.
Yeah, but now they're going to have to put her up under hypnosis or something.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. First of all, 6 lies were told. Second of all, you guys were talking about when the hilt went back in the warehouse. Pete just puts on the helmet, puts on an artifact.
That's what I said.
We're like, Pete, no touchy.
He's always touching something.
Yeah, that was in the senator's office when he was looking at the picture and knocked over that thing and she had to catch it. And then as she's leaving, don't let him touch anything else. Pete and his touching.
Shannon, what was your favorite part of the episode?
I liked it when Jinx was volunteering to go back with Claudia, when they used the same baby shoe artifact that Pete and his mom used to go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And that Claudia was, I guess, redeemed is a good word for it, because she was not the guilty party. She did not cause it.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't really too concerned about that because she was, 5, 8, something like that.
I don't really have a favorite part. I just, again, I
favorite
scramble
story.
hard in this season. So as we go further on, it's going to be harder and harder for me to find something. But it's like watching these episodes brand new to me all over again because I don't go back to them. Like, this will probably be the last time in the next 5 years. The season.
I don't know. They're pretty good. I think you're finding out the goodness of it. Yes, it doesn't have HD and Micah in there, Bearing and Wells, but they're good episodes so far. All right.
Yeah, other than the forced part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there were some good parts about that too, which I'll get to in a second. My favorite part, and I'm not going to claim it because you guys are both skirting around it, was when Claudia at the very end was determined to help Claire. That was my favorite part of the episode by far.
Yeah.
Like, Claire is saying, look, you're my sister. I know Artie did its best, but I'm going to find a solution. We're going to do this. And she will.
She will.
Yeah. So that is my favorite part. But because you guys have both taken Claudia for around that storyline, so I'm not going to take that. And I'm going to go with Pete hitting on Elise.
That was so funny.
He got shot down quick.
combining their things.
Them
And
combining
Micah says, stare at my boobs. And he goes back with, I already offered the turkey baster. So
we just take your eggs and my sperm and you put them in a turkey baster. And the lady comes out of the office looking at him like,
What the?
oh, dear God. I know. She didn't want to go out with me. What's up with that? Oh, that's why you
There's a
didn't want to
reason.
go out with me. Yeah, Pete, that was it.
right. Okay. Now it's time for a game. Are you ready for the game?
Yes, I have an email.
We do,
After.
but we're going to play the game first. You ready for the game?
Go.
All right. There are 60 episodes that we've podcasted on Warehouse
This
13.
game.
I've ranked
game.
all the episodes, for me, my favorite, from 1 to 60. So my question for you is, where did I rank it? 1 to 60, where 1 is my favorite, 60 is my least favorite.
32.
32?
Mm,
Because, that's almost literally.
20.
32 and 20.
I don't know.
I think you'll like it.
7.
Oh, 7.
7.
Because she introduced
Seven?
a new
Is that because of the
Seven.
Claudia story?
You got the
Wow.
Claudia story. You have a fun. I realize you guys are saying it's forced between Pete and Micah, but those scenes were funny between the two of them.
There is a lot of funniness to that. Yes, I will give you that. There was a lot of funniness to that.
You have Artie coming in and basically admitting he's the one scene that you brought up with Jinx, though. He's like, okay, I'm going to take that as yes.
I think it was funny too when they were gonna go to the baby shoes the first time, and he's like, "Well, it's either this or I have him staring at me for the rest of my life."
Yep, I don't think he wants that either.
He's like, "Well, I may just do that anyway."
So for the record, so far, my top, and we have 4 episodes left, but my top 10, 3, 2, 1. The next is Stan, which was the season 3 finale. The next one was Emily
Jenny-
Lake,
Emily.
which was the penultimate in season 3. Next one was the season 5 premiere, Endless Terror. Next one was No Pain, No Gain. That's the hockey player episode.
Because that's you.
Yep. Next one is 40th Floor. Then this one, Secret Service. Then The Big Snag. So that's up there. Then Lovesick, which was when they
The-
were investigating the people turning to
neighborhood.
clay. Yeah. And then the 10th one is The Sky's the Limit. And that is when Abigail comes in. But it had some warehouse lore to
Out
it.
of all of those, I would put the Big Snag
Yeah.
closer to number 1 because
Yep. We know you
I
would.
like that.
Actually,
that was,
no
that was a
worse.
good one.
wouldn't Stan be your number 1 versus the Big
Stan.
Snag?
Oh yeah, I said closer to number 1.
Yeah, okay.
Stand in Emily Lake, and then the first episode of season 4 is really good.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
there's good parts about most of these episodes, to be honest with you. The pilot remains down at 57. so wooden. Endless
Well,
Wonder,
it was their
but-
first episode,
Yeah,
so
right.
that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, you're getting to know
I
all the
downloaded a
characters.
picture from their first episode this morning. I saw one where they were sitting on the pavement after the car had rolled when they were
Yeah.
trying to bring,
Eddie,
to come back to the party,
Eddie
yeah.
posted that this morning on his Instagram and his Facebook.
All right, we did get a email, which you will actually say the email address again, but the email address is warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. And it is from a repeat offender. We got it from Rob, and he emailed
thanks,
us
Rob.
again. And I did not go back and check how many times he emailed us, but it's probably around 5.
I
I'm just guessing.
think they're all amazing, and we appreciate you, Rob. Thank you so
We
much
love
for
to
all of
have
our
a
emails.
fan.
We love it.
We do. His subject matter was, "It's me again."
Yay!
Hey, all. Okay, I lost count of how many times I've written you guys. Is that weird?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
because we can't remember either. Starting off last season, bummer. It's going to go out with a bang. Really loved Endless Terror. The one-liners were also endless. Artie,
Yes.
oh, come on now, and poof. The whole discussion about Micah's private lady parts between Pete and his boobies. Well, actually, Micah's boobies and the way he shakes his hands while he said it.
Yeah.
Loved it. And Artie asking about down there.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining the 3 Paracelsus. Kind of had me spinning, trying to figure out. Number 1 rule in time travel. Never explain time travel.
Never.
The battle between Claudia and Paracelsus, girl was kicking ass until she wasn't. Because, well, she did lose. But yeah, she was kicking ass there. SP, good job setting up Shannon on my last letter when I was talking about Pete and the whipped cream, and I said she missed it. I thought I did. And yes, she did. But the way you walked her through it to think about it, then continued on with it later.
I don't even remember that, but okay.
That was me. That was Carolyn.
Carolyn,
not
I
Shannon.
was I was reading that in the email. I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, that was
the
me.
conversation.
It's okay. We sound a lot alike, so I understand.
Yes, she was vindicated. I started listening to you guys last September and just picked up with the series matched up with your cast, but next rewatch, I'm not sure when that will be. I will fall into the normal routine, which I think he means listening to us talk about the episode after he watches it. Keep up the good work, and I'm pretty sure you'll hear from me one more time. Until next time.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it.
We love having a fan.
I know. We're one fan.
More than one fan.
We have more than one fan.
I know.
We have more than
probably
one
have
fan.
about 10.
Yeah. We have about 10. Thanks all 10 people that listen to us.
we might even have a baker's dozen now.
Woo!
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing my sister was probably added to that.
Yeah,
since
she took us up
she,
to the baker's dozen versus the dozen.
Cool.
Yeah, since she was on the podcast, so now she's kind of obligated to listen.
Well, Sasha listens.
So that's another one. Yeah.
See?
Oh, wow. We're
All
like
right.
popular and stuff.
Yeah. Next time we'll be talking about Warehouse 13, Season 5, Episode 3. By the way, there's only 4 more episodes left. This one is titled A Fair to Remember. Shannon, you get to pick. We have 3 summaries to choose from: tvguide.com, Amazon Prime Video, or IMDb.
The last one.
IMDb?
I only say it because I can't get the initial.
IMDb.
That's all right.
I got you.
Internet Movie Database. So the IMDb description reads, Pete and Steve immerse themselves in a Renaissance fair as they search for a dangerous artifact which animated both a horseless chariot and a life-size chess piece and set them against the fair patrons. Meanwhile, Claudia risks combining artifacts in a desperate attempt to revive her sister Claire from her artifact-induced coma. Micah struggles to prevent Artie from finding out and stopping her. That is Season 5, Episode 3, A Fair to Remember.
Did
See,
she
this is
not
actually-
learn anything from peristalsis?
No, she doesn't. But this is actually exciting for me because I don't remember that. I don't
We
remember
don't
it.
have a podcast though next week, right? You're off doing something,
Yes.
janitor.
Yes, my son and his girlfriend are coming to visit, so we will not be able to podcast next week. You guys are welcome to record, but I'm not going to be able to edit it. So,
yeah, we don't do anything without you. You're kind of the only thing that keeps us going. We just show up and look pretty and like do the most of the talking. You're the one that does all the things behind the scenes. So if we don't have you, we don't have a podcast.
I just
Just
dust
saying.
off the comatose patient. That's all I do.
And clean out the gooery
And sweep the floors. And edit the podcast. So, you know.
and edit the
important.
podcast and make sure we like look good and sound good.
So God knows we couldn't do it by ourselves. So
No.
Oh, you could. It's no
Yeah.
different than playing a video game. You guys would pick it up eventually.
I
But-
don't remember the last time
Hey,
I played
I
a
used
video
to-
game.
I used to upload software to ATMs. You'd think I'd be able to do it, but I don't know what you do.
If you are listening to us right now, you have 2 weeks to get an email back to us.
Yes,
at
please.
our email address, warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. That's warehouse, the numbers 13, fancast with an F at gmail.com.
Not very many episodes left to send us your fan mail. So
It's basically
send
a
us
month.
the fan mail.
Yep.
Especially
Yeah.
if there's a show you want us to cover.
I got to thinking, it being the last ones that they could pay attention to. You think I should bring the girls back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've been able to bring them back any given
I know
time
that,
you want.
But it would solve a problem that we normally have because they wouldn't be on.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think
Especially if
about
you got
that.
the older one, maybe we wouldn't have any internet issues.
That's
It
what her
would solve
point
a
was.
problem, right?
Hmm.
So Our audience probably don't know what we're talking about. Shannon has a unfortunate problem of dropping off the call several times. It's one of the main reasons we don't live stream this at all. But we have to wait about a minute for her to come back, and it's because her daughters are like with the internet.
Yep.
All the megabytes, all the gigabytes.
Yeah. That's what happened. You have two teenage girls, or preteens, whatever, 11 and 15. So there's
They
not.
need
And
all
plus
of the
him,
YouTubes.
he's in there. He's out there doing stuff too. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like he just left earlier on his bike, but whatever. The internet is in full swing, but it would solve maybe a problem if I brought him
They're using all the gigabytes.
one for each week, and then we might actually have an episode where we don't drop.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You could have all
yeah.
two of them in there too with you too. You got enough equipment. You could pull it off.
I could.
Yeah.
And they would have no internet problem.
That's
And
right.
then we would have a lot more editing for
I
SP.
make it work. Just like I made it work with your sister.
True.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you
and we
made it
did
work with
finish
Sasha.
each other's sentences half the time.
It was scary. All right.
That's my sister.
Anyway, that's it for this week. Please let us know how you like the show, how you like Warehouse 13, and we will talk about you and us and the episodes and the show later. All
So
right.
we're coming back on the 24th. Okay.
Until next
right.
time, I'm the Janitor SP.
The sci-fi girl.
It's Ocean 363.
All right. See everybody next time. Bye.
I think we need to go find some food. I'm hungry.
Nom, 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 nom.
Preferably out of the water.
Thanks for joining us for an episode of the Artie's Addict Warehouse 13 Fancast. You can find all our episodes at warehouse13fancast.com. If you'd like to contact us, you can hit us up on our email at warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. We are a part of the Lone Wolf Podcast Network. You can hear more of this cast and other shows like it by checking out lonewolfpodcasts.com. The intro music is Sci-Fi Hybrid Intro by Soundmake, and the outro music is Science Fiction by Tunes to Go. Both were purchased on pond5.com.
Are you going to be alone with your thing? Is that what you're doing, SP?
My favorite mug.
How many episodes we have left? 4?
What's that?
We have 4 episodes left, right?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We have 4
Yep.
left, right?
4 lights. Yeah.
Four
lights.